welcome to another edition of In the Box Seat podcast with myself, Warren Lenferner, Andrew Harrison, my co-host and a very good friend. And today we're using technology. We're using Zoom, I think it's called. Is that what it is? Zoom. Yes, we're going on the Zoom platform, and we're going to go and talk to somebody who's really riding well. He's just a great rider. He's based in Hong Kong, and it's an absolute pleasure to have him. Thank goodness for technology, to have him on our show and to touch base with him. None other than Karis Teetan. Karis, how are you?
Hi Warren, hi Andrew. I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a long time, but I'm glad I could have a chat today.
Yeah, in Hong Kong for 12 years is a long time.
Yeah, it's gone fast. It's been a good 12 years, and looking forward to many more now.
You talk about 12 years. You know, that is a long time. Some jockeys go to different countries. They're not as long as 12 years. What's your thought process? Are you happy to stay for another 12 years? If you got an offer from around the world, what would happen?
It took a lot of hard work. So it's been 12 years, and I feel like I'm still learning. I'm still gonna get better. So at this moment, the way Hong Kong racing is going, it's improving every year. Our stake money keeps on rising. So for me, I feel like, you know, I'm really settled down here. I've got a lot of big races still to win. My family, my little daughter and I is born here, so there's a lot of things to look forward to. And for the next 12 years, like you said, I'll be in Hong Kong, unless if I get really a big job offered somewhere else. But for now, I'm happy in Hong Kong.
Now you've got to put the pressure on Zach Purton.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You know, Zach's a big boy here. So, but we are trying. You know, one of these days we'll get there.
Karis, talk to me about your wife Xavier, your little one Isabel. How are they adapting to life? And they've adapted to life, but are they loving Hong Kong clearly?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Hong Kong it's a totally different lifestyle to go to South Africa, and of course she comes from France and from Mauritius. You got to sort of really adapt to a lifestyle, the culture of Hong Kong racing, and the culture of sort of being here and blending in with the people, you know. But yeah, I think my wife, she's done 11 years now here. I met her through racing, so it's been good. And of course, our little one Isabel, she'll be 3 years old in April, and now she's grown up so fast, and it's just really amazing to have a family with me here.
Karis, talking about hardships, when you started, let's go back right to, was it 2004? You were 14 when you arrived at the Jockey Academy, and you couldn't speak English.
Yes, that's true.
But you learned fast.
Well, I had to, otherwise I would have fallen in a big hole. So there was no one else there. You know, when I moved to South Africa, having one thing I had in my mind is, you know, I want to be a race rider, I want to be a jockey, and I want to do well one day. But I must say, you know, in the academy itself, I had a lot of support from everybody I worked with. It could be from the riding master. You know, Warren was there a couple of good years. He saw me there, but you know, from the teacher, even just trying to learn how to talk English was massive support from them. So, you know, I'm very grateful and thankful for everybody that looked after me when I was in South Africa.
Yeah, but it was tough. I mean, going from Mauritius to a completely foreign environment, and you're 14 years old.
No, it was extremely
easy.
tough. I mean, nowadays the 14 years old kid, they in front of the computer or in front of the TV playing PlayStation, and I was by myself with one of my friends and with a backpack in the academy and can't speak any English, so you must know how tough that was. I remember crying the first week, sitting on the lawn and crying like, I'm gonna go home, I can't do this.
Oh, shame. Man.
Lucky I stuck my neck out, and look where I am today.
Yeah, but you had your first ride in your second year, which was pretty good going, for Tony Rivalland, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, I worked with some really great riding master back then. So we were really sort of a really tough group of apprentice, and the riding master was pretty good at those times where they put a lot of pressure on us, and I thought they guide us the right way.
Yes, that's good.
I'm looking forward to hearing this answer because, yes, you arrived at the age of 14 at the South African Jockey Academy, but from 14 back to birth, you were obviously in Mauritius, probably one of the greatest places in the world, but that's because we're both Mauritian. At what stage was it always going to be a jockey for you? Were you going to do something else, or tell us about that journey leading up to 14 years and going to the academy?
Well, I started riding horses when I was 7. My dad used to take me to one of his friends where they have horses on the beach, where you would take tourists come in and then they would go ride on the beach. And my dad would take me there on a weekend, let's say a couple of times. But then I think when I was about 9, when then things starting to really hit me, because then I was really skipping school and like going to school with uniform, but then not going to school, changing and going to ride horses. And it got worse because then Dad was giving me money to take extra lesson because I was not that smart in school. And I was taking the money and buying things for horses, like bandages and stuff like that. So those guys there, they were like, "Where are you getting bandages from?" Like, "Yeah, it's just for the horses." So until Dad found out, I got a beating. But then, then I really my dad actually understood what I wanted to do and got me hooked up with the Mauritius Turf Club. And I mean, from there, it's just history.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good story, but it also shows a bit of it's a bit of courage to go forward and to realize your dream. Yeah.
Well, like you say, exactly. Like I think it was a dream. It was a dream since a young kid, and Mauritian, we don't have like big team of rugby and cricket and all these and soccer. So horse racing is so popular, as you guys know. So mom and dad was always into horse racing. I mean, our family gathering will be horse racing. So I've always gone to races when I was young with dad, but it's always been my dream to sort of want to be a jockey and want to ride horses.
Now, Karis, we know that you were born in Mauritius, you're a Mauritian, but we here in South Africa look at you and see you as a South African, one of us. So you're a Mauritian South African. And to have some of your fellow South Africans across there with you, Luke, Lyle, Keegan, and others, must make life a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I still consider myself half South African because I think half of my life I spent it in South Africa. I moved there when I was 14, so my whole teenager or whatever, I've spent it in South Africa. And I've had a good couple of years in South Africa. If I had to tell you, I spent time in Durban with Paul Lafferty and Tony Rivalland, and then joined Lloyd Land and Patrick Land's yard, where they look after me like I was their own son. I was going to them for Christmas and everything. And so it's amazing. When I came here, then Douglas, of course, was here as a South African, so it was nice to sort of talk to him. There was Weshong Mawing, there was a couple of other jocks here. So yeah, it's always nice when you have some fellow riders that familiar with. So of course with Lau, he used to do my kit when I was riding in Port Elizabeth.
Sure.
For Yvette. So I tell him sometimes, now you're stealing my ride where you used to clean my boots. So it's a good group of guys here. It's nice to see all of us doing well. So that's a good thing.
Karis, having watched racing from Hong Kong, as Andrew has, you seem to have what's the word I'm looking for? Courage. We use another word that begins with B, but we can't say that on a public platform. You seem to have guts because you've got to make decisions quickly. You seem to go. You can end up wide. You must have nerves of steel to ride there to make those big, bold decisions.
Yeah, 100%. One, you described it pretty well. I mean, here racing is totally different to what we used to in South Africa. Of course, let's take example, especially like Happy Valley, 1200 or 1000 meters. You just come out the gate and it's like about speed. So if you are not sharp enough and you can't make your decision in the split of a second, you might lose the race. So you really have to be so sharp. And there's a lot of study. There's a lot of course, the form that we do all the time and get to know your horses. But Hong Kong is a place where you need to learn quickly. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to fail.
Yeah. Are you connected to any one stable, or do you ride freelance?
And this season I'm freelance. I'm really sort of picking a ride from everybody. I don't really have a stable where I'm getting my first choice horses. But yeah, so the good thing about what I do freelance is because I can ride 115 still 52 kilo,
right?
And I can pick up a lot of rides from everywhere else. Let's take example, if Zach win on a horse, a young horse in class 4, and then it goes up to class 3 and he can ride it, and that gives me opportunity to pick up a nice ride. So yes. So it sometimes it works out well, but yeah, it's always nice to have a stable that supports you too.
But when your first season in Hong Kong, you rode 50 winners.
Yeah, yes.
Why is it so hard for the out blokes now? If they ride 20, it's a lot.
Well, I mean, my first ride was first race of the season was my first winner. So I started like really good, and Hong Kong is all about luck.
Yeah.
And then everything started well. So that was a great start for me. So after that, of course, I had Tony Millard here. We had David Ferraris, and they really sort of backed me up and support me a lot. And also, I was very lucky because I ended up riding for John Size in my first season.
Right.
So I picked up a lot of horses from John Size, and yeah, so I just sort of work hard. I would not say always lucky, but I really did work hard when I was here in my first season to find out like what I can do, and always speaking to like all the other jockeys to get to know how I can do well in Hong Kong. And I must say, to ride 50 winners in my first season was really great.
Right. But you also had a break. I mean, were you injured or were you ill? You had quite a long break.
Well, that was 3 years ago when I had the 3 months off with my thyroid.
Okay.
Actually, that was the worst time of my life because I thought I would not be riding anymore.
Sure.
So yeah, so that's good that everything is fine now. Right. God's taken everything away. So yeah.
Karis, you mentioned luck. You said in Hong Kong it's all about luck, and I've unfortunately never travelled there. I've never experienced the public. I've never experienced anything there. How real is it that it's all about luck?
Warren, I mean, to get luck, you need to work hard. You need to put the you can't just be lucky. You can't just get the luck. So I think, yes, they say, yeah, you need to be lucky. You get luck and all this. And, here in Hong Kong, they believe in it. So, of course, working hard will bring luck. So, like I said, example, I said when I won my first race, this beginning of the season, when my first year here, they thought I was lucky.
Yeah.
And this is, so
that
this
helps.
is what helps. So it's like, yeah, definitely. Like, there's a certain stage where, you could be having a great 3-4 months and they will be like, oh, he's lucky jockey at the moment. Yeah. So, yeah, it's, that's how it is. Yeah, like I said to you earlier, this is the culture of Hong Kong racing.
Yeah, it's a bit like what Gary Player always said, the harder I work, the luckier I get, yeah.
100%, 100%, yeah.
You
can't be sitting on your couch and thinking you'll get lucky.
Yeah, good point.
Well, I'm still trying to win the lotto. Yeah.
Good point. But you must get off the couch, go to the shop and take the lotto ticket. You can't get lucky.
Yeah,
go buy it. Absolutely. The Hong Kong, the Jockeys International Race meetings, those are great. You must really look forward to those.
Yeah, I mean, I think December is the most exciting races for us. That international races. Then we have this Jockeys Challenge on a Wednesday night. That I
You won it
want to tell you, you should come. Yeah, I won it
2 years ago. Last year.
14.
Yeah.
No, about I won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was amazing to ride against 7-8 world's best jockey, and of course the club put an amazing night. So it's a really exciting build-up week from the Monday to the Wednesday. Then we have the gala, and then the international races where you meet hundreds of people from over the seas, and all the best horses will run against each other. So those are like the most exciting time for us here.
Can you stop going to the game reserve for about 3 months, save up some cash, and let's go to Hong Kong? Because I've never been. My wife's been to Hong Kong. She said that you will never, you have to see it. Karis, you have to see it to believe it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially a night at Happy Valley. You got to be there and experience that feeling. It's different class. There is nowhere else in the world where you will feel that. So save your money or don't go to the game reserve. Get yourself to Hong Kong at least for 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the media, now when I mentioned to you media, interviews, etc., how important is that?
It's very important, of course, to do a lot of those work, and of course here the media are really big because they really promote the racing, promote the horses that's going to run on a Wednesday and a Sunday, and of course with the media, of course, do the local or the South China Morning Post that whenever they will ask for an interview or want to interview us, we have to do it. This is part of working here.
Part of your contract.
So I feel it's great. It's of course, we share information about the host and to give some more information to the public.
Yeah. So basically, as you say, it's part of your contract. It's a bit of a non-negotiable. It's safe to say that.
Yeah, no, 100%. You cannot say no. You don't want to interview or anything.
Okay.
Of course, you cannot give specific information about your host,
Right.
but you can, of course, whatever question they will ask you about, what do you think about the host and all these, you can give those information.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of our job here.
You were champion apprentice in South Africa 2008, 147 winners. So I mean, yeah, all those things would have added to your brilliant CV. But how did you get to Hong Kong, Karis? Tell us about how you got to Hong Kong 12 years ago.
And Warren, I think my greatest move I made was when I left Durban and went to Cape Town.
Okay.
I think I felt like everything has just was about to change. Don't take me wrong. All the respect to all the success I had in Durban. I rode for some really good trainers. My last trainer I rode for was Gavin Van Zyl, and I must say he taught me a lot about horses and about everything. So, what I'm saying is the great move I made went to Cape Town, where I went to ride for Glenn. Then I ended up riding for Joey Ramsden and then got to ride for Brett Crawford for a while. But it was always sort of getting on some good horses all the time and doing well, and sort of my CV kept getting better and better. And of course, then riding in Port Elizabeth, that helps a lot also. So I just felt like, I was doing the same thing all the time. And of course, I felt like my riding got better. And just before I came here, Richard Fourie was here. So of course, we kept a lot of eyes on how Richard was riding, and everybody was watching Richard riding. And I heard Richard was maybe thinking of coming back home. So yeah, it was a big decision because those years I was riding Jackson, and then someone from the Jockey Club here, I think it was Steve Ralton, yes, he sort of got hold of me and said, "Are you interested of coming to Hong Kong?" I was like, well, of course, why not? But I've never thought I just thought it would just be like, them thinking. But after like few days, I could not sleep at all. And then they just came back, and they, of course, because Richard decided to go back to South Africa, they end up accepting me. So it was great. It was very sad to leave, I must say. It's never easy to leave when you're doing so well, when you're being so successful. You feel like you're leaving all this good stuff behind. But I've always had this dream where I want to ride overseas and I want to do something bigger and better. and I thought Hong Kong was a perfect move for me.
Now, you mentioned Jackson.
Yeah.
The Cape Derby, I think, is one of your best rides ever, because Anton Marcus was riding Variety Club. And I remember writing, I said, Anton rode the absolutely perfect race and he got beat, because you came right at the end and you nailed him.
Yeah, I think I tracked him.
You sat behind him the whole way, yeah.
Yeah, I tracked him. Yeah, I knew he was the right horse to follow, and but I had so much belief in Jackson. Of course, he was such a good horse. Yeah, it was such an amazing race to win. It's funny, we were talking about it a couple of days ago with some people. When I won that race, I left the rein.
Yes.
And when of course, Brett gave me a bollocking for that. And when I got to Hong Kong, Kim Kelly, the main steward, called me and he's like, he printed a picture. He's like, you see this picture? We don't do this in Hong Kong. So I was like, oh God, I hope that's not gonna get me kicked out now.
No, sure. Just going back to your family and friends in Mauritius, you said, it was difficult for you at the age of 14 to get to South Africa, then South Africa to Hong Kong, difficult to leave those friends and family behind. But my oh my, Karis, when you talk to them and when you communicate with them, and I want you, when we finish this podcast, to send a shout out to everybody in Mauritius in your beautiful language, but we'll do that later on. It must give you so much courage to know how proud they are of you. Sad that you've left them all behind, but they must be bursting with pride.
Oh yes, no, 100%. I think of course Mauritius is where I've born and raised and my home, and my whole family is there, and of course the whole Mauritius is behind me, supporting me all the time. Since my first day in South Africa, they've always been behind me, and it's even on social media, on anywhere else, I've always seen great support from those people in Mauritius, all great fans. And, even in South Africa, I still have, even you guys, I've had so much support still, even I'm still half South African maybe. So it's like I've still got great support from everybody. It's incredible to see, that nobody has ever forgotten about me. So, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Have you ever had any weight issues, Karis?
Nowadays maybe a little bit, but before, no. I'm a daddy now, so I don't know if I'm eating the baby's food or what I'm doing. I'm doing something wrong. But no, I've never had a problem with my weight. My weight's always been good, but I must say it. I'm a very disciplined person. I look after my weight pretty well. I do a lot of gym every day. I don't skip any day of working out. I have my bad days where I eat bad, but I really have a sort of disciplined way where I'll eat, and I don't drink a lot. I don't, I'll have a glass of wine here and there, but I'm not someone that work hard and waste it. I really look after my weight. So this is why after 12 years in Hong Kong, I can still ride 51, 52.
They better make sure they put something over our stomachs, because you can clearly see that you and I don't look after our weight.
It's the sitting on the couch problem.
No ambition, yeah.
Sitting on the couch problem. I'm going to remember that. Now, just to change the subject for 1 second, what time is it in Hong Kong right now?
We are now 5:20 in the afternoon.
5:20 in the afternoon. Okay, and we 11:20 here in South Africa. I know you've come back to South Africa, you've been back to Mauritius. Your social media is so great, it keeps us updated, and where you go for your vacations, and just go back to Mauritius. But when are you coming back to South Africa again to visit us?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to come back. I think about three years ago, I got a ride offered in July, but it did not go through. But I would love to come back again, either riding or just visiting. But it's so hard, like during the season here, it's not easy to get away. But now maybe with the whirlpool racing, so that might allow us to travel, we hope. So it would be nice if we could come down to South Africa for like a JNB Met or Durban July, or even a summer cup or something like that.
So the Hong Kong Jockey Club have to give you permission to ride during the season, to ride out of Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean during they don't like if we skip any race meeting. So, but like I went to Australia last year for a couple of horses where it was the whirlpool meeting, but then they allowed you to go. So that's been like approved now. If it's a whirlpool, they will allow you to travel.
Karis, just one or two, I hate using the word personal, but one or two personal questions. How does that work, with your riding fee? Do you get a riding fee as each and every ride, as we do in South Africa? Does the club pay you? Do they pay you one set wage? How does that work?
So we get paid, of course, every horse we ride, and
Okay.
that's everywhere in the world, right? So we get a riding fee from the club. Everything is done from the club.
Okay.
So our riding fees, and of course then the stake money.
Yes.
Yes, I think 10% that we get from the winning stake of the race we win, and then we get paid here from every 15th. So the 15th of every month we get paid. So that's how it's count.
Okay. And then
but yeah, and the club do everything. They will, before they pay us, they take a portion of money out of there. That's for the tax. So they don't want any of us jockeys to get in trouble with taxpayers, I think.
Okay.
So it's really sort of well done. It's a well done system where everything's smooth. There's no hiccup.
And then, of course, the trainers, I believe that the club also pays, or the owners have to pay the club and the club pay the trainers. Is that how it works?
I think the club pay the jockeys and the club, not the owners. The owners pay for their own horses.
Okay. And they pay the trainer direct?
Pardon?
Does the owner pay the trainer direct, or does he pay his fees to the club?
No, he pays to the club. Yeah, he doesn't pay. I mean, the trainers here doesn't pay for the trainer are just here to train horses.
Okay.
They don't get their So the club, the Hong Kong Jockey Club, got everything sorted, and like we say, it's a fantastic system.
And then, Karis, we're in the home straight now, as we say. We're nearing the end of our interview, and it's so sad because we could have sat here and spoken for 2 hours. But it's late at night. You've got your little one and your family to deal with, and of course we've still got work to do. We don't want to sit on the couch all day. Bart Vanders is a journalist from Hong Kong. There's so many journalists. I don't know if you know Bart Vanders, who's now become a huge friend of South African racing. He comes to the World Sports Betting Met. He's come to the Hollywood Bets Durban July. And he's taught me now something, and I don't know if you know about this product I'm going to show you. He's taught me about a product called an egg roll.
Egg roll.
Yes.
Egg roll. Yeah, this is like the thing to eat.
Now that's
really good. I think we have a couple of boxes at home always.
Yeah.
It's the best thing with coffee or tea. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So when he came to,
it sounds weird if you tell someone it's an egg roll, but it's really like a biscuit that's made with like egg, but it's really amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. Every time he comes to South Africa, he brings me a tin of this, and I give him a tin of Amarula cream, and we're all very happy. And egg roll, quite right. So thanks to Bart, and so that's a treat that you know. And then
I know what to bring you next time.
Thank you. And then, of course, he gave me this magnificent Jockey Club cap, which I appreciate as well. So, yeah, it's lovely to have that association with.
Now, Bart is a good guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. But that's, I think, a wrap for us. The last thing I want you to do is a shout out to Mauritius, in Mauritian, in your beautiful language, because, of course, the whole island will be watching this. Your family will be watching this. So send a shout out to them.
So, merci beaucoup tout mon fan de l'île Maurice. Merci beaucoup tous les support qu'ils ont de moi quand ils montrent les courses de Hong Kong, le social media, soit le message, mais aussi mon famille. Merci beaucoup tout le support. Moi, extra appreciate ce que je fais pour moi. Je continue à lire sa flag mauritiana. Je continue beaucoup les courses de Hong Kong avec mon fier Maurice fier.
Karis, that's just a wonderful time to chat with you. Hopefully we'll see you soon, either in South Africa or we'll come to Hong Kong, please God, one day. But we watch every move that you make, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Andrew. I thank you so much for your time, but I would really like if you guys can come to Hong Kong first, because it would be nice to show you guys around here.
Yeah,
So I'm waiting for you guys first. I'll wait for you, then I'll come with you guys back.
Okay,
Thanks,
that's a good
Karis.
that's a good challenge. But what I'll do is, after this podcast, I'll go to the bank manager and see if I can just bump up the overdraft a little bit. Nice to
Thank
see
you so much, guys.
Karis. Nice to see
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Cheers.
Karis.
All the
Cheers.
best.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Andrew, to sit and spend, what was that, half an hour, 45 minutes with Karis, what a personality, font of knowledge, bubbly, sense of humor. He's clearly thriving in Hong Kong.
No, but he was always a go-getter, even when he was an apprentice. I remember that he was always so grateful for what he got. You know, he never took anything for granted.
In these podcasts, we learn things, and you, I think, were away when we had the podcast with Greg Bortz. And what I took out of that podcast, which we shared with everybody, was failure is not an option. So that's a great way of looking at things. And I've taken from Karis's podcast, you're not going to get anywhere by sitting on the couch. No sitting on the couch. That's brilliant.
Well, I'm dead.
So yeah, it's just lovely for him and his whole family, as I said, must be so proud, and of course Xavier and Isabel and his family there with him in Hong Kong. We're proud of you, Karis. We really are proud of you, and it's good to see you looking strong, happy and well. Keep booting home those winners. There's a sale coming up, Bloodstock South Africa sale. Pardon?
Yeah.
Yes, sale in February. I've unfortunately left the catalogue on my desk. But of course, you go onto their website, you'll see the date of the sale. It's towards the end of February.
Yes, what's Bloodstock South Africa?
Bloodstock South Africa sale down in Cape Town, down in the Cape. And we said to you at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of sales coming through and many opportunities to buy yourself a champion. The last sale was the Cape Racing sale, which I went to, I might say, and it was an unbelievable sale.
Well, I'm glad you didn't stick your hand in the pocket. Because,
I did, to get my cell phone out.
yeah, there was nothing cheap there.
No, nothing cheap, but good horses get good prices. So that's the next sale, BSA sale in Cape Town at the end of February. Talking of February, the Poly track is now, anytime soon, they're going to start that refurbishment. That's exciting.
Yeah, well, tomorrow is the last race meeting
Tomorrow night,
on the old Poly.
on the old Poly,
Tomorrow
correct,
night, yeah.
So that's something to look forward to. And then sad news, we read on social media that the Aga Khan died.
Yeah, he was always a doyen of racing in Europe, Ireland, France, and England. And he was a breeder of Shergar, plus 3 other Derby winners. No, he was a big friend of racing. And
He was, I think, 81 or 88. 88, I think.
Yeah, no, he had a good innings.
Good innings, but sad loss.
Yeah, let's hope the family carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. Racing this weekend, we've got a double header. I call it double header. Friday night, Sunday. Friday night, Hollywood Bets Gravel. And then on Sunday, Royal Victory runs.
Yeah, he's chased everything off. I see there's only about 6 or 7 runners, isn't he?
Yeah, so it's going to be a good race, and it'll be lovely to see Royal Victory back into the winner's
Tom
box.
Morty.
That's what it is, correct.
Stakes.
So there's racing on Sunday at Hollywood Bet Scottsville. Lots of betting opportunities to look forward to. All that's really left is to first ask you, how's the fishing world? Have you managed to do a bit of fishing
I'm going this weekend.
this weekend? And all okay?
Stagfontein.
Stagfontein. And
It's the end of the yellowfish season. So
Okay.
I've got to make one last stab in trying to catch a fish and not get shouted at by my son. Yeah.
and Chrissy still going well in the game reserves, etc.
Oh yeah, haven't you watched? She was on Wild Earth for 2 weeks.
Okay.
She had an absolute ball there. Yeah, and she's still running her YouTube thing. What's it? Wild Watch. Yes.
Well, I didn't watch it because I only have the 99 Rand DSTV package because there's only one channel that gets watched.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
horse racing. So, and then of course I've got the decoder for Gallop, and that's it. And then the kids and everybody else watch, and Candice
Netflix.
watch Netflix, which is not for me. So I should maybe upgrade my DSTV package so I can watch Chrissy on all those wonderful shows. I think, and that's it. All that's left to is to appeal to everybody to please follow us. I say follow us, follow Gold Circle, follow Gallop TV, www.gallop.co.za. Follow all those platforms, Gallop TV, Gold Circle, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube channel. And please like, subscribe, follow. It costs you absolutely nothing. But just hit the bell, the notification buzzer, and subscribe to those channels, because to be quite honest with you, brilliant replays, footage, interviews, preview shows, racing. It's great.
A lot of information there.
Absolutely. And of course the Gallup site, Stephen Marshall showed me yesterday, the Gallup site, the past form, the distance links behind, you can just click on the icon, you see the last run. I mean, it's brilliant. So go on and follow us and subscribe to those various platforms. But that's a wrap, nothing else to add. Lots of racing we look forward to, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, 2 hot days we've had, but today we've got a bit of relief with some rain. And
It was 37 yesterday.
It's been unbelievable. February must come and go, because it's our worst month. It certainly is our worst month. But to the team behind the scenes, to Wanda and Apiwe, and to, of course, Andrew and to Karis and to everybody that makes this production possible, thank you. Have a good day, have a good week. Punt well, stay safe, be kind, and always, we'll see you in the #1 box.